So here's the question to think about as you lay down tonight with your head on the pillow. The question to ponder is, how early do you want to be? Because what we're doing with FuXion here is, with this US, is the analogy I like to use in this kind of a scenario is you're hacking through the jungle, right? You're over here, there's this big jungle, and so you're over here at point A and you want to get to point B. But to get there, you got to go through the jungle. And the first person who goes through the jungle has to do it with a machete, because you're just hacking vines and trees and limbs, and you're trying to create a space to squeeze through. And it's hard, it's arduous, it's hot, it's dangerous. There's poisonous snakes. There's mosquitoes with Zika virus and malaria, and not everybody who hacks their way through the jungle makes it out alive. There are people who die in the jungle, right? But if you hack through, pretty soon, you get to a point where there's a footpath, and then it's a dirt path, and then it's you could take a four-wheeler through there, and it's a dirt road, and then eventually it's a paved road. And then ultimately, it's this 6 or 8 lane superhighway, 3-4 lanes going in each direction. And there's a toll booth right in the middle. And if you were one of the pioneers who hacked their way through the jungle, every time some car goes through there and they throw $1 in the toll booth, you get a percentage of that. And that's why we say, how early do you want to be? Because the analogy and how it relates to network marketing is, so here we are, what is it, March? Is it March 2nd or the 1st today? 1st, so it's March 1st. We have a team website. It's actually up. The resource section isn't done yet. The training section isn't done yet. We got a few things up. The mobile app is in development. It's amazing. The functionality is incredible. But it's maybe 3 or 4 weeks before it's done. The replicated website, which will be in a system completely integrated with the mobile app, 3 or 4 weeks away. The launch is going to be May 13th to the 15th, right? In Orlando, Florida. That's where, what's that?
Buy your plane tickets now, they're super cheap.
Yeah, get them now. March 13th, 15th, that is the place you want to be. That will be the launch. We just know Orlando, so you can buy the tickets. They haven't done the venue yet. But so the point is, at this stage, you're looking for 2 things. You're looking for customers, just people who don't get it, but man, they could use the products. They would love them. They love the energy. They want to lose weight. They want to look younger, feel better, get as many customers as you can right now. And you're looking for leaders. You're looking for people who want to be in early, who say, yeah, I'm willing to take my chance with the mosquitoes and the snakes and the lions and the tigers and the bears, because I want to own part of the toll booth. So that's a different mentality, because people have different, just like investors. They say, well, are you a high-risk investor, low-risk investor? Are you a conservative investor? Are you a risky investor? Right? Everybody has, same when you join a business like this. If you say, well, I want a company that's safe, well-known, has been in business for 20 years, they've got a website, everything's done, this is great. Join Amway, join Nu Skin, join Herbalife, join Melaleuca. There's lots of opportunities for you if that's where your thing is. That's what we're not talking about that here. We're talking about people who say, no, I want to be a pioneer. I'm willing to take a greater risk because I know there's a greater reward. The point is, an hour now is worth 20 hours a year from now. Because we can go out there on a Des Moines street corner now, we can ask 100 people, what do you know about FuXion? And 100 out of 100 will say, fusion, what is that? Nuclear fusion, the reactor, what are we talking about? They have no idea, right? So the opportunity is extraordinary. And when I say how early do you want to be, it's the thing of how much traction can you get between today and March 13th? May 13th. Well, so you can start with March 13th and then we'll build to May, right? So here's what I'm going to suggest for you is what I told the guys at the pre-launch event we did in Orlando is you want to be a Padawan Jedi. Your goal is to get 3 to 5 people on the left side of your structure and 3 to 5 people on the right side of the structure. People who have the leadership mindset. So I'm not counting the customers, and I'm not counting the tourists and the tire kickers, because you're going to have people say, well, just in case this fusion thing takes off like you think it might, I'm going to hold a position. Here's my credit card. I'll do 20 points a month. Okay, I'm not talking about those people. I'm saying get 3 to 5 on each side who say, I want to do this. I want to get in now. I want to get in pre-launch. I want to be there May 13th with some people who are already in, already trained, have their spots high in my structure. So that's what I'm going to suggest you really work on going out of here tonight. And don't stop sponsoring until you have at least 3 Padawan Jedi on each side of the structure, right? So you got one, don't stop there. That's not enough. You're crazy if you don't make the most of this opportunity, because let me tell you, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, people are going to say, you were in that meeting room with Randy in March of 2016, the first meeting he did like that? You were in that meeting? You were there? You locked in This is where it starts, guys. I'm here today. I'm in Durango tomorrow. I'm in Denver on...
Denver tomorrow, Durango on Thursday.
I've still got those mixed up. So tomorrow is Denver. Why can't I get those right?
I don't know. I think because, I don't know why.
It's all the drugs I did in the 70s. That's why. Let's just be honest here, So Denver tomorrow, Durango, and then I'm going to do a tour in April with Eric Gamio, who's one of the superstar upcoming diamonds down in Peru, and Luca and Lily Maloney from Lima, top income earners with the company. We're going to pick 3 or 4 cities and do another tour in April just to kind of build up, drive demand for the event in May for the launch. So you really have a chance to make some hay here. You're the first ones, guys. This room, look how many people are in this room. This is like being in the garage with Bill Gates and, or Hewlett Packard or Steve Jobs, or pick whatever analogy, okay? This is your opportunity for this. So don't stop. So what your plan is going out of here is, okay, I'm going to go into Mach 2 with my hair on fire. I'm going to contact everybody who's in my phone. I'm going to contact them in the next 8 days. And I'm going to see how many of them will watch a couple of these Fusion videos, or get on a Tuesday night leadership webcast, or get on a webinar, or get on a whatever. But I'm going to just clean through my Facebook friends and everybody in my phone, and I'm going to try to get to everybody in the next 8-10 days. And I'm going to just keep dialing until I have 3 to 5 on each side who get it. And then I'm going to help them replicate that process. And the plan is, we get someone in, we say, okay, let's get your activation order done right now. EF active. And now before we even get into the accelerator guide, we need to get you EF qualified. EF is Entrepreneur Fusion, right? So we need EF qualified, which means at least one person on the left, at least one person on the right. So let's do that. Just who's in your phone right now that we could call, we could text, we could send a message, get them to watch something, so that you could just lock in, right? And then we get them in the accelerator guide, and same thing. Let's just get through every contact in your address book and find you 3 to 5, at least 3 to 5 on each side, and see how many people you can get to Orlando in May. The tipping point you're looking for is 100 distributorships at a major event. At the point you get to 100 distributorships at a major event, that's when you have created a lifetime income, a legacy position, where the organization is just going to continue to build and build, even if you stop working. That's kind of the tipping point that I've discovered after 30 years in the space. So it's not at a local event, meaning like Derek could have an event in Chicago, Isa could have an event here in Des Moines, and we could get 100 people here. That's not what I'm talking about. It's getting them to a major event where it's a weekend event. Alvaro is there, the Diamonds are there. They get to meet them, they get to shake their hands. Julissa there, or Dr. Columbus is there, and they're doing seminars, workshops about the products and the ingredients and all of the science behind it. And that's what, we use the expression, you get people across the line. I mean, they're at the point where they realize, hey, and this is what I want to talk about next, this process, we need to get people from hope to belief. Huge, huge difference. When people join FuXion, same as if they join Amway, Herbalife, New Skin, Old Skin, or In Between Skin. When they join out of hope. Say, wow, people make that kind of money. There's free bonus cars. They have cruises. They have trips. I want to go to Hawaii with Isa in January like she did. How do I do that? Oh, I hope this works for me. That's why they join. When you get them over the line, what has happened is the hope has turned to belief. So now they're not saying, well, I'm going to dip my toe in the water. Let's see if this works. No, they've been to enough major events, and this is what happens at major events. And May will be a major event. I mean, we'll be pulling out all the stops. Every all-star, superstar of the team will be there. Alvaro will be there. Julissa will be there. We've got some new products we're going to launch there, even more. I mean, amazing products. And I'm on the, inside of a lot of that. And I can tell you, we're going to blow this thing up. We're going to make history. So there'll be a lot of people at that event. That will be the event that gets them over the line, where they say, I can do this. Because what we're looking for is what I like to refer as that magic moment when the hope turns into belief. And that happens at the major event. Because what happens is Ann Feinstein gets up and tells her story, and she was a school teacher, right? If Derek gets up, he's working in insurance, right? If I get up, I was the guy who was the minimum wage dishwasher in a restaurant. There'll be somebody. So my friends here with the coffee shop, when they hear me telling the story of getting my business seized by the IRS, the first restaurant I had that closed, working 90 hours a week, they're going to say, oh, I can relate to that, right? Somebody in the insurance business, they're going to relate to Derek. If they're a school teacher, they're going to relate to Ann. If they're in real estate, they're going to relate to Billy Looper's story, right? So that's what happens is all of a sudden they realize, well, that person is just like me, and it worked for them. So if it worked for them, it can work for me. And they have a team there, and they have people on their team who get across the line, and they have people in their team who have that belief, and then they know this really is going to work for me. It's not, maybe this will work. It's, I know this is going to work. And it doesn't matter. If my sponsor quits and goes somewhere else, it doesn't matter. I know it's going to work for me. If FuXion is back ordered on Termo tea and no carb tea for 5 weeks in a row because the demand is so high, it doesn't matter. I know it's going to work for me. If there's negative publicity, which there's going to be with the Herbalife and New Skin and all that stuff, right? It doesn't matter. I know this is going to work for me, right? So that's what you want to work on is, okay, how many people can I have in May? So we start with, I need 3 to 5 on the left at least. I need at least 3 to 5 on the right. I need to help them replicate the process. And then how many can I get to Orlando? And what's my campaign? And what you've got to do is you need a campaign in Des Moines. You need a campaign in Chicago. You need a campaign in Minneapolis. And you need a campaign in Omaha. And you got to say, okay, how do we get to Orlando? Are we taking buses? Do we need to charter buses? How many buses are we going to have? Are we flying? How many people? Who's got the discount airline? Does Southwest go there? Is some $37 special that everybody needs to know about? Or do we have 250 people coming from our market and we need to just charter our own plane? I mean, what is the plan? And what are we going to do? What's the campaign? And when people buy their tickets for Orlando, we're going to give them a pin or a sticker or a wristband or something. And every time we have a meeting, we're going to recognize the people who do there, and we're going to put their names up, or we're going to talk about them on the webcast or whatever. You create the campaign. So as soon as somebody joins the business, so if you enroll somebody tomorrow, you're saying, right away, we need you to get registered, block off the day, because the U.S. launch is March 13th to 15th in Orlando, and you need to be there. What am I still doing March? I'm in a hurry to get this thing launched.
We tried to launch it in April.
I'm in a hurry to get this launched. So what I would also suggest you work on is keep them in until they get to the break-even point. Everybody you get in, right, you need to keep them in to give them a chance till hope turns into belief. So what we need to do with them right away is help them get 5 to 10 customers immediately who will use whatever, the Termo tea, the Vitamis tea, the Ganamus, whatever. You just, like we do in our accelerator guide, we say, just have your first meeting, call the 10 people who love you the most. And say, this is my grand opening, and if you love me, you will be there. And you get them there and you say, this is my new business, I'm excited about it. You're already drinking coffee, tea, juices, energy drinks, smoothies, athletic drinks. Instead of buying those expensive, unhealthy versions, I need you to buy the inexpensive, healthy versions from me. And I need you to support me. I want you to be my customer. I want to service you and make sure you get the best service and the best products every week, and we get all that unhealthy, all those diet sodas and aspartame and all that nasty stuff you've been drinking. We're going to get that out of your refrigerator, and we're going to replace it with healthy stuff. And some of them will want to do the business. Great. We're going to get those people in the business, but we need them to get 5 or 10 customers as quick as possible, because that's going to build up some volume, right? Help them get to the Padawan thing, and what we want them to do is we've got to get them to the point where their products are paid for, their self-development program is paid for, and their major events are paid for. Meaning, major event will be May, the launch, and then we will have another big event in the fall, probably September or October, will be what we're calling Explode, which will be, Explode US with the X. That'll be September, October. So those are events where they're going to get on a plane, they're going to have a night or two in a hotel, they're going to need a babysitter, they're going to have to put the dogs in the kennel, whatever. So we don't want people saying, well, I can't afford to go to the event. We got to get them up to enough income right away so that it's not costing them anything to maintain their Fusion business. They've got all their products paid for. They can get in a book of the month program that we work with them on self-development. They can buy some audios, podcasts, positive thinking stuff, get their mindset every day when they wake up. And they can attend these major events 3 times a year and not have to take the money from their savings and not have to put it on a credit card and not have to take it out of their whatever their household budget, because they got that much coming into Fusion. So we want to get them to that point as quickly as possible. And what I'm going to suggest for you guys in this room is from now till May, you make a decision to get out of balance with this and work at least 2 to 3 nights a week on the FuXion business. And for the 3 to 5 people, what you're doing is you want to keep driving in depth until they take it away from you. Somebody in that line takes it away from you. Meaning, if I look at Ann Feinstein, like Ann doesn't call me and say, hey, Randy, I have a prospect. Can you get on the phone with me and help answer their question? She knows how to do it, right? Derek doesn't have to call me and say, well, I'm having a home meeting. Can you Skype in to answer the questions? He's a big kid now. He can handle that, right? So you get someone in the line, they take it away from you, right? So you want to look for each one of those 3 to 5 people on each side. So now we're talking about 6 to 10 people, 6 to 10 lines. What you're doing is you're working down each one of those lines until somebody takes it away from you. And when they do, that frees you up to work stronger with other lines or to open new lines. So you make the choice based on where you're at in that situation. The big picture you're looking at is, okay, how many people can I have in May? Because it's distributorships. Because the long-term thing is you're saying, how long is it going to take me to get to the point where I have 100 distributorships at a major event? This is where you start to do the math and you kind of work your way backward. If let's say you could get 15 distributorships to Orlando. Okay, that's a big deal. If you could get 15 distributorships there, what'll happen is I would guess 5 or 7 of them will get over the line at that. You'll have 5 to 7 over the line distributorships. You'll have 8 or 10 distributorships who have experienced a really good event, learned some new skills, increase their level of belief about the products and the company and the opportunity and themselves, and develop some new skills that they're a little more confident in. But they're not over the line yet, but they're getting there. So you got 15 in Orlando. So you say, okay, well, if I could get 15 to Orlando, then maybe I could get 45 to September, October, whatever the fall event is. If I could get 45 to the fall event, it's conceivable I could break the 100 distributorships in the spring event, March, February, whatever that is. And if not, maybe I'm at 82 in the thing, and then next summer's event, I could get to the 100 thing. And then I know my business is built. The foundation is there. It will continue to grow forever. And that's the game plan for how to do this. If you ask me, how did I make $11 million in the last that's what I did. This is exactly the thing I did, is I said, okay, I need to know how soon can I get 100 distributorships to a major event, get myself over the line. And I got 11 people working the first month, split into 2 lines, but it was 11 total. So, and I was so busy with those 11, then I couldn't sponsor anymore, and then I sponsored 2 more at the end of the second month. So I was working with 13 people. And then we did an event like we're doing in May. That was really the first event we did in Chicago, remember? That when we said, hey, if you're serious about the business, we're just going to put everybody in a hotel room and we're going to do some training. And I got up on the stage with 2 guys, a guy named Eric and another guy named Randy, and we did training. And we said, okay, here's kind of the system, here's where we're going, here's what it is. And then we had an event 4 months later. And in the first event, I mean, I had like 15 distributorships there of personal line distributorships, and many of which had a number of their own. And I think by the second event, or the third, I had the 100 distributorships. And that just took off. And then again, and that's still going even though I'm gone. In countries, like I say, even though I'm gone and I was the leader of the team. Once you get 100 people like that, it just creates a life of its own. And it will continue to go with you or without you. And that's how you get the money thing out of the way. You got to create the passive residual income. It's just, you cannot keep trading hours for dollars. I know because I did the restaurant business, okay? I have worked literally 100 hours a week. And I did it for years, 100 hours a week, okay? Because I went to, I worked my way up to being a restaurant manager. And then I was basically earning less money than my waitresses and my cooks per hour. And I realized this is not, what I thought was my dream job was my nightmare. And so I thought, well, that's the American dream. I need to own my own place, So I scrimped and saved and bootstrapped and got my own place. And then I went from 80 hours a week to 100 hours a week. And I had a delivery pizzeria. We were open till 4 a.m. every day, 7 days a week. So we opened at 11 a.m. We were open till 4 a.m. And so I was in there by 11 or 12 every day. And I would be there until 4:30 in the morning. And on my day off, I would go in at like 3 o'clock. And I would do the orders, and I would do the inventory, and I would do the schedule. And I'd work about 3 or 4 hours. And then if all of the crew showed up, I might be able to go home at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock and go to like a movie or a restaurant dinner, like with real people, and like real people do. If everybody showed up. But that was that's not a sure bet in the restaurant business. So if somebody didn't show up, then even though it was my day off, I still ended up working 12 hours or 14 hours, right? And at some point you realize there's not enough hours in the day to trade for dollars to create wealth. At some point I have to put leverage to work. And that's why when I was shown this by Amway, right? It was an Amway distributor. My friend who we were struggling, it was the first restaurant I'd done. My partner and I were bootstrapping it. He was filling up gas at a gas station. The guy on the other side of the pump started chatting with him. And my partner called me up, hey, come over Saturday. I got a guy coming to the house. I want you there to protect me. Like, protect you from what? You got 3 big dogs. What do you need me? And he said, well, I was talking to this guy at the gas station. It's about making money, and I want you there to protect me because I think it's Amway. And I said, I was a 20-year-old guy. And I said, Amway? What's Amway? He said, you don't know what Amway is? The thing where they draw the circles, it's about making the money? I said, I don't know anything about Amway. I don't know anything about circles. But if it's about making money, Jimmy, we need to make money because we ain't making any money. So it was a Saturday afternoon. I went over to Jimmy's house. This guy came. He had a yellow legal pad like that. He had a red pen. He drew a circle. He wrote U in the circle. He drew 5 circles underneath the first circle, and then 25 and 125, and I was hallucinating, okay? When I got this leverage thing, it's like when people say, well, what do you do when people say it's a pyramid? Or what about people who are skeptical and how come they don't understand the... I don't even know what language they're speaking because I didn't get any of that. I looked at that, and as a guy who was working 80, 100 hours a week, I got leverage. It was like Elvis singing Blue Suede Shoes. I mean, it was just, right? This is where this is where you take your life back. You gotta practice leverage. And your guy who was here, is his name Scott? Steve. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, he can rock this thing. He had to go because his daughter he's picking up his kid in the dance competition. But see, he gets it. You just need a few people who get this and they understand. And it was just interesting talking to him about a conversation he had with someone because he's looking at a couple of different companies and he's got a guy who's talked to him about this company, and the guy in that company doesn't like the products. He can't, it's like a energy coffee kind of thing, and it tastes horrible. But I guess it's good for you. I don't know, I haven't tried I don't know anything about it, but the guy who's in it says it tastes horrible, and he tells him, You know, it tastes horrible, but we can make money with this. And I told Steve, you got to rescue that guy. You got to rescue that guy because we don't have that with Fusion. This stuff really does taste good. This stuff really works. I can tell you, I can be in my softball game and just be 95 degrees, play up in Santee, which is like a desert, and I mean, it's hot, and I'll just be like dragging. And I will take one Vita and one On and mix that up, and in 5 minutes, I feel it. And I'm just jacked, ready to go, right? This off, what I drink at night is the off, so I just sleep. Beautiful. The Mexico City, this is the fifth, fifth time I've been there. I can't breathe there. The smog is so bad, it's like China. China and Mexico City, probably the worst in the world. You guys who follow me on Facebook, you saw that picture I put up. I mean, it's just smog everywhere you look. And plus it's at higher altitude, so when I go there, I'm like, and I need a rescue inhaler because I've had bad asthma problems, right? So I've had a rescue inhaler. And if I went there once and I didn't have a rescue inhaler and I thought I was drowning in air. I mean, I just couldn't breathe. I was just, and so I just was there this weekend and I could breathe and I didn't need an inhaler. And it didn't dawn on me till afterward. And I said, what is going on here? And I realized it's because of the Veramis tea. Because when I was in Lima, I was chatting with somebody and I was talking about my hotel had put feathers in there and I'm allergic to feathers and dust. And Alvaro heard that. He said, you got allergies? I said, yeah. He said, do you drink the Veramis tea? And I said, yeah, I have one every day. He said, go to 2 a day. Okay, he knows what he said. So I went to 2 a day. And that's why I think I could breathe in Mexico City. Because the other thing that happened is, I forget where I was, one of these hotels, you know, I said, I always request feather-free bedding. I said, you know, you get the thing, yes, they said that they did it. So I went to bed, woke up the next day and I was like a little groggy, a little sleepy. I looked in the mirror, my eyes were swollen. I said, what? So I went and checked the pillows. Yes, of course they were feathers. They hadn't changed them. But I had slept all night. Before, if I wouldn't, that could have never happened before, because within 5 minutes of putting my head on that pillow, I would be hyperventilating. I would go, because for whatever, I'm just deathly allergic to feathers. I don't know what it is. But I slept the whole night. Even, like I say, eyes were a little swollen. I felt a little groggy, but that was the difference. It had to be the Veramis, because I could have never lasted 5 minutes with that. So I always say, you know, when I was having this conversation with Billy and Ann, you know, one of the things that came up was they said, why don't you just start your own company? You know, your name, you could do everything, and you could attract the money, the investors, everything. And of course, my answer was, I would rather stick a fork in my eye, because, you know, why would I want to be in a corporate office and manage employees and do all that? The reason I got out of this is so I will never have to hire another employee as long as I live. Okay, that's my greatest ambition in life, is that I will never hire another employee, right? Everything I do, and I do a lot of business, but everything I do is with outsourcing. Just, you know, I'm happy to partner with people and hire people, but not as employees. I don't ever want to have another employee. I have one left for that. I've had my assistant, Lornette, has been with me for 20 years. She is the bomb. And we have a death pact, right? She's going to work for me till one of us is dead.
She might have to kill you.
She might. But that's it. I will not. I mean, I've had a bunch of employees. I don't ever want to do that again. But that question came up. Why don't I start my own company? And if I started my own company and I had this white canvas, and I said, okay, what's the perfect product line? This would be it. This would be it. Because what do you look for? What really works in our business? You want unique, exclusive, highly consumable. You want a story. It's got to be a story that people get. Because again, I was telling Scott, I used to have a list, and it drives me crazy because I lost it, and I've got to find this again somewhere. But it was a list of all the inventions that the people who invented it went bankrupt. And it was crazy, this list. Like, one of the things on there was razor blades, personal razors. So if I said to you, hey, the so-and-so invented the razor blade, what do you think happened? You'd say, oh, they must be worth billions, right? But they're not, because they went bankrupt, the person who invented it. Because people said, shave yourself? And not have the barber do that? You would slit your throat. You're going to cut your throat, you're going to die. They had to be educated, right? That, no, this is safe, there's a way to do this. The same thing, the person who invented oatmeal. Because people are like, oatmeal, who would eat that? What is it? What is it? Is it good for you? I mean, why oat? Who would? But if I asked you, hey, what do you think happened to the person who invented oatmeal? You'd say, oh, must be Quaker Oats, he's a billionaire. No, what happened is the person who invented it went bankrupt, and then later, after the education process was done, somebody else came in, picked up the idea, and those people became billionaires. That's where we're at with fusion. I mean, the marketplace has done all the work for us already. All the people with diabetes, all the people with obesity, all the heart attack, stroke, everything, which is coming from the diet. We're digging our graves with our teeth. It's the food we're eating, and it's the beverages that we're drinking, right? And every time they build another Pizza Hut and McDonald's, it's an annuity for us. Every time there's a $5 million Super Bowl commercial for a fast food joint, it's an annuity for us. This is just people building our business for us, because the world, I mean, we don't have to start this movement. The movement's already there. There's millions and millions of people who are saying, I need to find something healthier. I got to stop with the preservatives. I've got to stop with the sugar substitute. I got to get rid of this high fructose crap. I've got to get this GMO stuff. I got to get this out of my diet. This is a really strong trend that's already happening for us. And we've got the product line that is perfect to be in front of that trend. We've got the story, the brilliant inventor, the all-natural from the heart of the Amazon, the lungs and heart of the planet. I mean, it's a sexy story, and it's a story people get. And this story of, hey, you're already drinking coffee, teas, juice, water, sodas, energy drinks, sports drink. Keep drinking them. Just drink a healthier version. That's a story that can make you wealthy, right? So this is really, it's the perfect product line. If I was going to launch, and again, same thing, I was in Hawaii for the Cena de Gala, the celebration dinner, and I was meeting with a couple of guys there who were in Ann Feinstein's line. One of them is a guy named Kavita, and he had been in one of those juice companies. That bottle of, juice with Asia or whatever, miracle cure juice. And now he's with us here in Fusion. And we were talking about the ordering now, and you can split the order. If you do an order more than 100 points, you can split it and say, qualify me for 2 different cycles. And 120, it might be 120, right? Okay, so 120 points, and everything over 100 is free shipping. So we were explaining that to Kavita, and his eyes were just getting bigger and bigger. And I was like, what's so exciting? And he says, I get free shipping to Hawaii. Do you know what shipping was like with the juice company? Because they're so heavy, those bottles of juice, water, liquid is the heaviest thing. And and you know, everything goes to Hawaii Air because the UPS trucks kept sinking. So everything there's no ground delivery, it's all air delivery, right? And yeah, so I mean, it's real. So that they just found they couldn't build a business in Hawaii because the shipping was so prohibitive that it just ran them out of the market. And it was the same thing I can tell you when I was with Agile. I did a meeting in Vilnius, Lithuania, and I had 1,000 people there. And you say, how is that possible? Believe it or not, I'm really big in Lithuania, okay? My books have been there for years. They've been translated in the local language. I had 1,000 people there. So I'm like, we're just going to take over the world here. We're just going to march through Europe like Genghis Khan or somebody, you know? And then the next morning, I had a leadership breakfast with some of my key people. I'm like, guys, you're amazing. We had 1,000 people last night. They all bought kits and whatever. And one of my guys said, Randy, we're so excited, but there's a real problem here. I'm like, what's the problem? He said, well, you know, the products, the box of the gels is like $60 US. That's like 80 euros here. And there's a VAT tax, and there's 30 euros shipping. And this $60 or $70 box of gels costs 140 euros delivered in this country. And Derek will tell you, we face this in country after country after country because the cost of goods wasn't there. It was two things were the reason. Number one was the shipping, and number two was because they didn't actually manufacture their own product. So they didn't have the cost of goods. It was much more expensive to begin with. And then when you threw on the shipping and the VAT and the excise tax or the import tax or whatever, it's crazy. And like when we were looking at this, I said, Rafael, I want to put you on a call with some of my leaders from Argentina. So I put them on a call with Daphne and Alberto Zerlinger, Jaime Lokier, and Shai and Yafo were on there. And he was talking about Ecuador. And he said, well, we had this real problem in Ecuador because there's like a 30% VAT tax on everything imported. So I told Alvaro, we can't do business if there's a 30% import tax. It prices us out of the market. We need to have our own factory there. So I set up a little factory just in Ecuador just to produce the products in Ecuador. And now that's one of our biggest markets. And when I heard that, I was like, do you guys understand what you just heard? Because they, of course, had been building with Agile in Argentina and facing these, they just literally could not get the products registered. Then when they got them registered, they couldn't keep them in stock. When they could get them in stock, the shipping and the VAT were so ridiculous, it was 5 times more than anybody was willing to pay. And we don't have that with this line because the sachet is it's so small, it's so light, it's the perfect product to ship anywhere in the world. It's great for everybody who's concerned about the environment and all the extra packaging of those, gallon jugs and what. We don't have all that. Just take it and mix it up when you're ready for it. So, it's the perfect product line. If whoever, Bill Gates, whoever said, hey, Randy, I want to put $100 million in an account. I want you to go start an MLM company and build the perfect company for me. What would be the product line I would build? This would be the product line I would build. Because it's unique, exclusive, highly consumable, great for shipping. It's got the story. It's got the cost of goods because they did the development and the research and development. They own their own manufacturing. It's real products for real people at real prices. So This is where we're at, Jedis. You got 2 months, 2.5 months to make the most of it. You got to think, okay, I'm going to just go crazy. I'm going to consciously choose to get out of balance until I get at least 3 to 5 on each side. I'm going to start driving depth with each of those 6 to 10 people. I'm going to keep driving. My commitment to them is I'm going to help them get at least 10 levels deep. And we're looking for people like them, leadership people who see the vision, with the intention, how many people can I get in May in Orlando in the room for the major event? And then from Orlando, I build on that. How many people can I get? Some of them will go to Alumbra. In June is going to be Alumbra, the annual convention in Medellin, Colombia, is where it's at this year. And we'll have thousands of people there. It'll be amazing. So that's another major event that you'll be able to get some people over the line. Imagine how many people get over the line. You take them to an event where there's 10 to 15,000 people, which is what we're going to have at that event. And then there will be the event in the fall. And it's just, how soon can I get 100 distributorships at a major event and put my business on autopilot? And 2 years from now, people are going to ask me, people are going to say, you were in that room in Des Moines in 2016, in March. You were there. That's where we're at. That's why I came to 21 degrees. Because I want you to understand how magical a moment this can be for you if you will make that decision with this. Thank you.